So let's say you're halfway through a killer game. The party's split, tension is high, and then someone pauses and says, wait, is this encounter balanced? Now, of course, that's not actually going to happen, but people are going to think it. It's like the fun has to be verified by a calculator. If you've ever felt the joy leaking out of a session because you weren't sure the numbers lined up right, I have some news for you. The obsession with balance might be ruining your game. And I'm not just going to tell you why, I'm going to burn this false idol to the ground. Let's define what people mean when they say balance. In modern tabletop role-playing games, balance means one thing: that all classes, powers, and monsters are operating on a kind of a numerical parity. That no player should feel less effective, and that no fight should be unwinnable, and no enemy should outclass the group too much. That's it. Balance is the promise that no one at the table will feel bad. That's a lie. Because when you chase balance in a tabletop game, you're usually chasing control. The DM is trying to prevent a total party kill. The player is trying to make sure their build keeps up. The publisher is trying to create a product that won't get them flamed online for being broken on Reddit. But that's not what we came here for, is it? Now ask yourself, what are the moments that stick with you after a campaign ends? Was it when the wizard's fireball landed exactly at the right amount of damage to the perfect challenge rating matched enemy? Or was it when the party faced something that was way beyond their level and just happened to survive? Or when they failed horribly and it changed everything? Balance is the enemy of those moments. When you tune everything to the party's level, you don't just sand down the difficulty, you sand off the narrative edges. You remove the tension, you take what could be a war story and you make it into a worksheet. That's not fun. So let's be real. The obsession with balance came from, ready? The video game industry, MMOs. They taught us, and they taught a whole generation, that encounters should be level matched, hit points should be scaled, every class should be roughly equal in contributions per turn. You're not playing World of Warcraft, guys. You are not in a matchmaking queue. You're at a table with people, probably your friends and potentially loved ones. You are telling a story, living a story. And these stories don't give a damn about balance. They care about meaning, choices, they care about consequence. See my video somewhere around here about consequence. If your players never run, never hide, never beg an enemy for mercy, your game might be too balanced. Here's the ugly truth. Perfectly balanced fights lead to perfectly predictable results. They win. Now they might get a scratch, but they win. They loot, they move on. Next room, same formula. Now, compare that to the session where they walked into a cave and realized too late that they are not alone. That the room they just expected goblins to be found, and they got there and found something worse. Those are the stories they tell. The ones with risk. The ones where they should have died. That's what imbalance makes possible. The DM is not a human calculator. Some dungeon masters get trapped in this feedback loop. I need to make sure this encounter is fair. So they start calculating hit dice, party DPS, average HP, terrain modifiers. Just stop. You're not refereeing at a damn UFC match, okay? You're not here to guarantee fair play. You're here to provoke decisions, to create the chaos and see what happens next. The fair fight, that's what players want when they're afraid to fail. And a lot of dungeon masters, I would dare say most dungeon masters, deliver it because they're afraid of what happens if players do fail. You need to let them fail sometimes because the consequence of a bad choice is death or loss or retreat. Run away. I tell my players, why didn't you run away? But that's not bad storytelling. That is the story. So I want to talk about the players, especially the optimization guys. You know the ones. He's done the math, he's cross-checked, all these different rule books, and he's just pointing out that the monk is underpowered at level 6 and that the fight isn't CR appropriate. Well, here's the trick. Power gamers thrive in balanced systems because they know how to win. But if you strip the balance away from the table, you take away their roadmap. And now they have to rely on something else. Creative thinking, resource management, good role play. And that might be the best thing that you can do for them. Unbalanced encounters do one thing beautifully. They make your player's choice matter. If the party walks into a room and realizes they're screwed, but they don't die because they think, plan, or negotiate, that's solid gold. If a single lucky hit kills a party member, it hurts, it stings, but it also leaves a mark and it raises the stakes. Unbalanced encounters break the illusion that you can solve every problem by throwing dice at it, and that's a good thing. The dice don't care about fairness, they just decide the outcome. So what do we do if we're not balancing? I've said this before, use the world, not the math. If they're in a haunted swamp, make it haunted. Don't check challenge ratings, check tone, check fear. Signal danger. Unbalanced does not mean unfair. Give them a chance to notice the threat, to flee, to plan, but don't pull the punch. And also, reward ingenuity. If they avoid the fight through clever roleplay, let it happen. If they solve a deadly situation without drawing a weapon, that's a win. Also, let the dice speak. It's a dangerous world, yes. And sometimes a bad roll ends in death. But make that death mean something, not a punishment, a consequence. See my video about penalties and consequences. Some of what I just said, it's not gonna land for everybody. And I get it. What I'm offering here, this entire mindset, it isn't some clever house rule or minor tweak. It's a full reframe. It's built into the bones of the games I run. Deathbringer, Shadow Dark, some old school essentials, but not just old school essentials. The OSR is unforgiving. It's not just a story rich, but story first, where tension isn't a design element, it's the point. If you're still chasing balance like it's a virtue, you might not be ready to let go. But once you do, you'll never look back. I finish most of my videos with some sort of call to action, and so I'm gonna challenge you on this one. The next time you sit down to run a game, do not balance your encounters. Build the world, let it breathe, let it hurt, let it scare and surprise your players. Trust them, trust the players to adapt, trust yourself to respond, and trust the story to emerge, not from equilibrium, but from imbalance. That's where the real game lives, not in the math, but in the mayhem. My name is Rick. This is Save versus BS. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in the dark.